my name's Jade and today we will be discussing Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This is the first book in a new duology by her. Not sure how much I want to tell you about it, to be honest. Treasure hunt through time with pirates and romance. That should be enough for you to be sold on the plot of this book. It is so cool and it's so much fun. The writing in it is really beautiful as well. Like, the story of Voyage is really epic and beautiful, and I'm so excited for the next one. It sets up for it so well at the end of this one. The back says, "This journey is only the beginning, and boy is it only the beginning." I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I really liked it. I can't say that I'm in love with it because I had 1 or 2 issues with it, but overall the writing was beautiful and the concept is so cool. I've never read anything like it. I've never read a time travel book before, so this is my first time travel book. I love Alexandra Bracken. The Darkest Mind trilogy by her is one of my favourite trilogies ever, The Darkest Mind being one of my favourite books ever. I'm in a different location today. It's my sister's room. It's the purple one. If you ever see me in the purple room, it's my sister's room. There's an echo in here, so I don't like filming in here, but sometimes I have to. There's banging going on in the house over there. If you hear loud noises, I apologise in advance. Trying to film this, oh my god, setting up this, it's the longest thing ever. I set up my camera and my memory card doesn't work, so I now have this old memory card from like an old camera I found that has 2 gigs on it, and so I have to do 11 minutes slots. And then the banging started, and so I had to move right after I'd set up everything, and then I had to reset up my camera. And this is the second time I've tried to film this video for this book. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say. It's well written. Liked the characters. Alexandra Bracken characters are some of the best characters. She develops them really well. I don't always necessarily like the character. Majority of the time I do. Very often there's like no black and white with them. I'm gonna start spoiling Passenger now. As I said, it's a treasure hunt through time, so it's a lot of fun. I love treasure hunts. The National Treasure movies were some of my favourite movies growing up. It's not just like back in time, it's like all over the globe. It's told from 2 point of views as well. Just pick it up, it's really good. Buy if you've yet to read Passenger. I really liked Jack. He was really adorable, and the scene where he did her hair, that was so much fun. I also really loved it when they had dinner on the ship and like Etta came to his rescue because Jack accidentally dropped something on that guy's Ren's lap. She's like, "Oh, oopsies, it was only an accident. We all have accidents, don't we?" And then Etta slapped him when he said that. He said something about Nicholas. I can't remember what he said now. And Etta full on slapped him. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves now. Let's just take it back a step. We don't want to mess with Etta. She's got a temper on her. One of my favourite things is watching Nick and Etta slowly fall in love, and they have that conversation and they're really honest with each other. Okay, then we have the whole Ironwood situation. Ironwood has Etta's mother. Did that give anyone else City of Bones flashbacks? Because it gave me City of Bones flashbacks. He wants her to find this astro lab, and Rose hid it, and she knew that Etta would be kidnapped by Ironwood at some point because she gave Etta the clue. So Rose set this whole thing up and knew that Etta would have to go through with this. How I just did not like Rose at all. She wasn't a very good mother. I mean, Etta talked a lot about how she always felt lonely and no one ever listened to her. And then she goes and pulls this stunt. Do you not care for your daughter at all? And then at the end she made it sound like she did, but like, I don't think she did. Oh, the tree on the front is the Linden family tree. It's super nice naked as well. Like, it's a really nice blue, and I like the cover as well. The color scheme, like teals and blues and silvers, some of my favorite colors. Lockwood himself is interesting as well because obviously he's the bad guy and I hate his guts, but the mission that he's on to get with his first wife again, which is weird and awkward, not like end of the world destruction evil. Like, if it was his story, he would be the good guy and we'd be rooting for him. But in my notes, when I like written about how Rose set this whole thing up for Etta, I was like, how dangerous and rude. How rude, Rose. And like, also she just doesn't even tell Etta that she can time travel. This is a huge part of Etta's life and she doesn't tell her about it. Why did she do that? Also, why send Etta out to do it? Why not just go do it yourself? Why not just destroy the astrolabe yourself? Sophia, I didn't like her, and she was annoying from the start, but I did start to feel sorry about her. I did sympathise with her at times. She's had a hard knock life, it would seem. And you know what the truly sad thing is, Etta? Sophia whispered, if he'd asked, if he'd put his case forward, grandfather would have considered it. I know he would have, because being born a bastard in his family is still preferable to being born a girl. and bad character that's not black and white and that you end up feeling for at times. So for me, Passenger started pretty slowly, which is one of my biggest problems. It took me a while to really get into that. I found it very slow. It takes the first 50 pages for her to travel, and then we have to spend another 150 pages before we find out what the main plot of the book is going to be, and the whole travelling thing with Ironwood. That's half of the book, more or less. I would have liked more time to be spent doing the actual treasure hunt stuff and kind of make it more treasure hunt-esque. I felt like there was a lot of build-up, and then obviously at the end things just kind of were all over the place. By the time we got to that halfway point though, after a while I did really get into it, and then I kind of fell in love with the world. Especially at the beginning. Towards the end I don't think it was as bad, but especially in the beginning I was finding it hard to connect to the characters, and it felt like the writing style was almost getting in the way because we couldn't really feel how they actually felt, and there were so many like words in the way, if you see what I mean. The descriptions were often very, very beautiful, and I mean the Darkest Minds is like, I really read some of the chapters from the Darkest Minds and I forgot about how intense they are as well. There's a lot of metaphors and there's a lot of like imagery and there's a lot of like intense descriptions in that one. It feels more sophisticated and more kind of like Laini Taylor-esque, rather than the Darkest Minds felt more Tahara Mafi-esque, if you see what I mean. They're both very powerful descriptions, but they're different types. I also found the pace to be, again, in the beginning, very slow. I don't think I want to say it was off, but it was very leisurely. I have here, we spent a lot of times in scenes, not too many cutouts / skippage of story. We would stay in the full scene, like we wouldn't like skip to the next day or stuff like that very often. Like we'd stay with them at all times. Which is nothing wrong with it, it's just that when you do skip parts in the story it helps it move faster, and because there wasn't that, we were just constantly with them, it moved a little bit slower. Which isn't a problem, it's just that I struggled with it in the beginning and it took me a while to get into it. The world was so well thought out, it was so cool, the way passages worked and the way music was incorporated. Travellers have to put a lot of thought into it because they have to keep track of where they've been, because otherwise the passage will just spit them back out. You're not allowed to like meet yourself again. The way we have all the different families, like the Ironwoods and the Lindens, it was so interesting. It's a very rich world, and I definitely think there's more room in the future. If she wanted to have other stories there, she probably could. I also really like the fact that we've gone back and forth between Nyx and Etta's path. It was very interesting, first of all, to see them, you know, fall in love with each other. I always say this, that when you have two characters and you skip them from the point of views, it's always nice to see them fall in love with each other. But I think it definitely helped the story. My favourite character was probably Nicholas as well. BTW, I really liked him. Etta reminded me of Clary sometimes, and that worried me. She's okay, I guess. She's not like Ruby, though. I'm in love with Ruby from the Darkest Minds. Anyway, back to this whole crazy Ironwood situation. He then goes ahead and puts Nick in the most impossible situation. In addition to the original settlement, I will relinquish total control of my plantation holdings to you in this era. Do with as you please. Cyrus said, free the slaves, sell the land, or continue it as it stands. You'll find not only a single ship, but a whole fleet. I didn't like that. I didn't like it. And they also, they both came up with their own reasons for getting the astrolabe, and especially towards the end when we were getting closer and closer to it, and Etta and Nicholas were getting closer as a relationship. It started to make me really nervous. I didn't like it. It was making me feel all kinds of uncomfortable. And then Etta, you know, she's like, you know what? I don't need any help. I'm just gonna go and do it on my own. And she runs away, and it's so stupid. First of all, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just hoping for the best. Second of all, it's Ironwood we're talking about. Like, if he managed to capture Rose and get you back here, I think he's gonna find you. Nicholas sorted through the bag. A pair of sewing scissors, a harmonica engraved with Sophia's initials, a small mirror, a few pieces of gold, your mother's letter, A. Etta smirked. A lady's support garment, an apple, and a revolver. He finished closing the bag. Sophia hadn't had a truly modern support garment, but the one Etta had found in the trunk was as close to it as she was going to get. What else would I need? She asked innocently. Water, maps, a list of known passages, our appropriate clothing, ammunition for said revolver. Do you even know how to use the weapon? Well, he had her there. We find out that her mother's letter is really like a riddle, and at this time I was getting so a riddle treasure hunt through time. Oh my god, when Nicholas chased the aeroplanes, it was so cute, and like on the bus as well. He was very clever in the museum there as well. Didn't he like figure out that painting was the passage or something? I can't remember right now because it's been a while. But I just remember being like, I would have never guessed that. We find out that this astrolabe creates passages. That's a lot of power, and I don't think Ironwood should get it. I think that's bad. And I think it's around this time as well that Etta decides she's not gonna let Ironwood get that astrolabe. Also, it was really cool how like the paintings her mother would paint, the different scenes were all the places that Etta had to go. See, her mother had been setting this up for a long time. I can't get over the fact how she could just do that to her daughter. Also, the way the travelers had like different posts set ups, and there was like guardians, and just the way they figured it out, it's just so cool. The world is so cool. Alice, like at the beginning I didn't really care, but then we saw her again in the middle, and it's just really like, because it's time travel, it's so interesting. And their parting brought tears to my eyes. Like when she died in the beginning, I didn't care because I didn't know her, but like now we do. It was very touching. Also, there was a man that like attacked them. He like ran into her and was like, Rose, do we think that's her dad? That's what I was assuming. And so they get caught in this air raid because they're in 1940s London. I feel like Victorian London and like those kind of places are used so often that like seeing 1940s London was really interesting. I mean, they get caught in this air raid and it's very scary because they could just be bombed and done. And there was like a dancing couple, and I think there's a guy playing a violin. It was so cute between her and Nicholas as well, because she's like freaking out. Nicholas is there comforting her, and it's just the most adorable thing. Shh, Etta, we're safe, he said. The battle's ours, pirates. And then we go to Angkor 1685. Where there's snakes and tigers, and it's crazy. For some reason, I was thinking that Augustus, is that his name? The horrible one, Nick's dad. For some reason, I was thinking that that could be Etta's dad. I don't know why I was so hung up on that theory, but I was. I could not get past the fact that he and Mose was together, and it just felt weird. Paris. And he thinks he sees his mother, and I feel so bad for him. I wonder if he will meet his mother. I hope so. I hope he gets to meet his mother. But overall, Paris was a bust. And then we meet her great 17-year-old uncle. So weird. More clues from Rosie. And then they have this argument about how they're gonna be together. Nicholas is like, well, you've got your future ahead of you and I belong to the past, and la 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 la. And it is a difficult situation, and I was genuinely worried, and I still am, about how they're gonna, like, they have to figure it out somehow. I don't know. They have to be together. And then they get together. And what she found in that soft warm darkness had no beginning and no end. For this time was their own, and it created its own eternity. It's like the fault in our stars up in here. By this point, we have like literally what's left of the book, and I'm like freaking out, like, how is this gonna wrap up? I don't understand. Again, I still think we could have spent more time doing time travel-esque stuff, although it flowed pretty nicely from there on out. Etta sees Rose, and she sprints after her, and I wanted to headbutt her. What are you thinking? This could affect the timeline and like all kinds of damage, but it's okay because, like, in her letter she said she'd see her soon. Rose kind of freaks and runs and doesn't she throw a knife, and then there's a kerfuffle and Nicholas ends up being stabbed. And I was oh so mad. And the description of it was just so intense. I teared up several times. Not Nicholas. I mean, I didn't think he was gonna go, but it was just, he was in so much pain and like everything was so uncertain. I really liked that little visit she gave to him. And then Sophia takes Etta, and oh my god, was I mad. Was I mad? No, you don't. Etta's been nothing but showing you sympathy, and this is how you repay her. I had hope for you, Sophie. I thought you could turn yourself around. And then we find out that she wants to go up to the Thorns, and she wants to use it for herself, and she wants to be some kind of dictator, and I'm just, shut up, Sophie. Just stop. She's too much like Ironwood for her own good. I don't trust her. She grey. The astrolabe was surprisingly easy to find. It was behind her family signal. We went through all this only for it to be behind, like, you might as well put a sign being like, astrolabe is here. 457 things started to go crazy, and I'm like looking back and I'm like, ugh, things kind of got muddled here. There was a fight, and Nicholas came to the rescue, and it was a glorious moment. If you're not Ironwoods, then who the hell are you? Sophia demanded. Dead men, came a deep voice from behind them. Nicholas stood at the edge of the landing, 1 foot still on the step below, Sophia's small pistol in his hands, aimed directly at the man hovering over Etta. Oh! And then Etta was shot, and she's like, oh, what's this weird feeling in my soldier? What's that pain? And she just disappears. I didn't think that she had died. It was too soon, and like, it was weird. I was very confused is what I was. Like, what the hell just happened? Rose shows up. And she has the nerve to point her gun at Nicholas, the only reason your daughter is still alive. To this, and now Alice is... You killed Alice? Killed the one person who cared for your daughter. I was so mad. I was so mad. And like, they were friends. You go, Nick, you tell her what disgrace of a human being she is. Ugh. So, Etta's alive. I've written in my notes, I told you so! Her timeline changed, and so she got through back to a different timeline. I wonder how her timeline changed, like what happened. And like, it sounds like Rose set this up very carefully, like from the very get-go, for years and years. I'm thinking before Etta even existed. I don't know if I trust Rose. I don't trust Rose, is my thing. We have the Thorns and we have Ironwood, and both want the Astrolabe, but the Thorns want to go back to their original timeline and Ironwood wants to get back to his wife, and neither of those things can be good. And so I don't want either of them to have the Astrolabe, and so it needs to be destroyed soon. I wonder where Etta is and like when she is. That'll be fun to find out. And she said that like a traveller came back and told her that it had to be this way. And she made it sound like they were from the future. I wonder who it was. Interesting stuff. Side note, I really liked Hassan. I really liked him. He was so nice. He had a quote as well about how a flower is just as beautiful because it lasts an hour, not a day. It reminded me of the gem quote that I love from Clockwork Angel about the lampshade. Yeah, it was very fun and it was very beautiful. It was a very beautiful book. Like, I associate it with Daughter of Smoke and Bone in that aspect. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening / night. My name's Jade. I hope I see you again next time. Goodbye. Oh, song. I think I had one, but I can't remember what it was. Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams, kind of. I mean, I wanted to go with something like on the violin because Etta plays violin. Also, I love the violin. Like, that's always the instrument that I wish I could play. Like, also like a couple violin covers that I like. Or like pop songs. I'm gonna link them all down below.